Find celebration is acknowledging all that is good. The good work that you do, the people that you do it with, the people that you do it for. It's when your to-do list becomes your done list. It's celebrating the little and the big milestones along the way. You see, celebration in itself is a disruptor, right? It's a way of looking at life. It's a philosophy about life. It's the lens to which we see our world. Play starts with a good sense of humor. How many of you think you have a good sense of humor? That's it? Okay, how many used to have a good sense of humor? How many have never had a sense of humor, but you think there's still hope? Okay, good. If I wanted my dad to lose his sense of humor when I was growing up, all I would have to do is bring home my report card. 7th grade C's and D's. He beats me to the mailbox. Dinner time, pulls out my report card. He says, "Scott, what is this?" I said, "Dad, it's one person's opinion. Do we need to talk about it?" One person's opinion. Yeah, I think we need to talk about it. How come Andy doesn't get C's and D's on his report card? Andy was one of my best friends growing up. I could never quite measure up. I said, "Dad, you can't compare me to Andy. We are so much different." He says, "So are you. How are you so much different?" I said, "Dad, Andy has very bright parents." Two guys haven't seen each other in a long time. How do they respond? Like giant Pez dispensers. Honey, who's that guy? That's Frank. You remember Frank? Frank is the guy that gave me the kidney. Hey, Frank, thanks again for the kidney. Have another Pez. The highest form of humor is the ability to laugh at ourselves. If you can laugh at yourself, in a sense what you're saying is that you accept your flaws. We all have them. You accept your foolishness. And you accept your imperfections. And then people can't laugh at you. They have to laugh with you, right? If you can laugh at yourself, you will always have something to laugh at. Everybody wins! Next question. Many people think that celebration at work is a little bit light, but actually it's just the opposite, because it creates engagement. Engagement leads to greater productivity, team performance, and profitability. It truly brings you closer not only to your staff, but your customers as well. You want to create true connection, what do? You tap into what's highest on people's joy list. You surprise them. You build better relationships. You can't be so self-absorbed. We need to think more about other people than we do about ourselves. I think what makes me unique is that in the 30-plus years of doing this globally, speaking in over 25 countries now, that I bring a global perspective and a cultural sensitivity to each program that I give, and I know what relevant value looks like, so I can write customized material for that particular group that means something to them.
We can use planned spontaneity when we're trying to determine where our customer is at.
Maybe it's simple. Hey Bill, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you'll probably never sign, we'll probably never do business together, and 10, you're ready, you're there. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 7, okay? All right, what is it gonna take to make it a 10? What do we need to do to make this deal?
It's all how we frame things in our mind. I love Larry Wilson, who wrote the book Changing the Game. He was the youngest member ever of the $1 Million Roundtable for insurance sales. After 1 year in the business, he looked at his numbers, how much he made that first year in the business. And then he looked at the amount of calls that he made, telephone calls. And he found, if you divided those numbers, that every telephone call he made was worth $25. So he knew that at the end of every day, if he made 2 extra sales calls, how much would that be worth to him? $50. This is one sharp group. Yeah, $50. So he would say to himself after every call, "Thank you for the $25. Thank you for the $25." And we come up with all the reasons in the world why it's not going to work. And we don't allow ourselves to go after the big things in life because for whatever reason we don't deserve it or we don't think we can have it. Right? If you believe you have limitations, you do. If you argue for your limitations, they're yours. But the only limitations we really have in life are the limitations we place on ourselves. How big would you dream if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you do if you didn't know you couldn't do it? You see, there's really no such thing as unrealistic goals. Maybe unrealistic time frames. But if you want something bad enough and you're willing to give up whatever it takes in your life to have it, you'll find a way to make it so.